With State of Origin Game 1 being played in Suncorp, it was a dominant display for New South Wales, but how did the Queensland players perform? Today, we look at the performances of all 17 Queensland Maroons players and rate them on a score out of 10, which will be displayed in the bottom left corner. And later I'm going to be uploading a video with a predicted Queensland Game 2 team based on how they performed in Game 1 and what changes they should make. So let's get straight into the video. Kalyn Ponga was relatively quiet in Game 1, having only a few touches throughout the match. However, on the rare occasions he did get the ball, the opposition's defence noticeably backed off, clearly aware of the damage he can cause. Queensland need to find a way to involve him more in attacking sets to make full use of his talent. His ball playing ability and evasiveness are unmatched, and when used properly, he can unlock even the most structured defensive lines. The Maroons failed to shift the ball wide quickly enough, limiting his chances to inject himself into plays, and if Queensland are to improve in Game 2, Ponga must be given license to roam and act as a secondary playmaker. Xavier Coates came close to scoring off a high kick and was solid throughout the game. He posed a serious aerial threat, especially when compared to New South Wales' Brian Toia, who traditionally struggles under the high ball. Coates provides the X factor out wide and was one of Queensland's more reliable performers. His kick returns were strong, regularly getting the team out of trouble with hard carries. He also showed good positional awareness, cutting off a couple of dangerous attacking movements from New South Wales. If Queensland can find a way to create more attacking opportunities for him, Coates could be the difference in tight matches. The young man Robert Toia had an outstanding debut and looked completely at home in the Origin arena. He held his own against Latrell Mitchell, keeping him mostly contained throughout the match. His flick passes coming out of his own end helped generate some momentum and showed maturity beyond his years. Toia's defensive reads were sharp, often shutting down overlaps before they could develop. His chemistry with Coates on the right edge gave Queensland some much needed stability, and with more experience he could become a long-term solution in the centres for the Maroons. The Hammer barely got involved in Game 1 mainly due to Stephen Crichton's elite defence. With that being said, he did have one real opportunity coming late in the match where he did make decent ground. He looked dangerous with ball in hand, but the teams failed to give him enough quality chances. His speed is one of Queensland's biggest weapons and must be utilised when moving forward. When he did touch the ball, New South Wales defence was immediately on high alert, highlighting his threat level. Queensland's attack looked too focused on the middle third, ignoring the spaces out wide where the Hammer thrives. A more expansive game plan in Game 2 could unleash his game-breaking abilities. Holmes had a solid outing, although he didn't receive the ball much on his edge to showcase his attacking ability. His goal kicking was decent, going 1 from 2 from tough positions, but he never really had a chance inside New South Wales' 20-metre zone. Defensively he was alright, but offensively he was underused. Holmes worked hard in yardage sets, taking tough carries when needed, and helping relieve pressure. His experience showed in the way he communicated with his inside men, keeping the defensive line cohesive. Still, Queensland must find ways to create overlaps and give Holmes clean ball in space. Overall, Munster had a very quiet night, largely due to the lack of attacking opportunity and territorial gains. He still showed glimpses of class, but didn't have the platform to stamp his authority on the game. Queensland will need more from him in Game 2 if they are to level the series. When given time, Munster's vision and flair can flip a game on its head, but New South Wales did well to rush him and take away his options. His running game was barely seen, a sign Queensland's forwards didn't win the ruck. He'll need to demand more of the ball and take control in key moments next time out. Daly Cherry-Evans was certainly below his usual standards, struggling to control the game and deliver quality kicks. He couldn't provide the structure and direction the team needed, especially during key attacking phases. At 36 years old, questions are being raised about whether it's time to look towards the future. His long kicking game lacked the usual precision, given New South Wales easier starts to their sets. Cherry-Evans' combination with Munster seemed disjointed, with both players unsure who should steer the ship. The leadership he brings is valuable, but Queensland may consider blooding a younger option if form doesn't lift. Fotuaika was strong in defence and had a few damaging carries, but was ultimately outshunned by the New South Wales front rowers, particularly Mitch Barnett and Payne Haas. He still had a solid performance, but Queensland needed more punch in the middle, and his impact might be better off the bench in Game 2. Despite his physicality, he didn't consistently bend the line or create quick play the balls. His work rate is questionable, but the Maroons needed more momentum shifting moments. Coming on fresh against tired defenders could allow him to be more effective. Grant was oppressive in defence, consistently chopping players down low and maintaining good line speed. However, he didn't get the chance to run from dummy half and inject his usual spark. He was subbed off and later brought back on, but overall, it wasn't one of his more influential games. The Maroons' slow ruck speed limited his effectiveness and nullified one of his biggest strengths. He also appeared hesitant to engage the markers, possibly due to unstructured game plans. For Queensland to click an attack, Grant must be given more freedom around the ruck. Big Tino was one of Queensland's best, delivering high energy and leadership throughout the middle. His presence was something Queensland missed in last year's series, and he definitely didn't disappoint. He was strong throughout and helped lift the defensive intensity when New South Wales was threatened. He consistently won contact and rarely took a backward step. His vocal leadership was evident, rallying teammates after key defensive sets. Tino set the tone early, and his performance should be the benchmark for the rest of the pack. Ruben Cotter was certainly his usual workhorse self, racking up tackles at a high rate and never taking a backward step. However, when New South Wales shifted the ball wide, he struggled to contain larger ball runners like Liam Martin. He may be better suited coming off the bench with a more traditional second rower starting. His engine and toughness are undeniable though, but his lateral movement was tested. Cotter's versatility remains valuable, but his best contributions may come during the middle portions of the game. Starting with more size could help Queensland win the early physical battle. Jeremiah Nanai was one of Queensland's best, contributing key tackles and consistently challenging for high balls. He showed strong defensive presence and looked dangerous every time he was involved in the play. His performance stood out in what was a disappointing night overall for Queensland. He also brought a point of difference with his athleticism, contesting kicks and pushing forward through half gaps. His ability to pop in support or offer second phase play makes him a unique asset. With better service, Nanai could become Queensland's go-to edge forward. Patrick Carrigan played with his usual heart and effort, leading the team defensively and trying to inspire those around him. He made some big hits and brought strong leadership, but like others, wasn't able to spark attacking plays. Queensland need to find ways to get more creativity out of the lock position. His line speed and cleanup work were tireless, but his ball playing didn't challenge New South Wales' line. Carrigan's leadership remains crucial, especially when the game tightens. Pairing him with a more creative spine might help unlock his potential in attack. Tom Dearden certainly brought energy off the bench, but playing as a makeshift hooker was far from ideal. He's known for his running game and deception, which weren't utilised in that role. Queensland must use him more effectively in Game 2, perhaps in a more natural halves position. His inclusion in the 17 shows the coaches rate his toughness and versatility. However, shoehorning him into a dummy half role limited his strengths. Dearden could offer much more if allowed to play as a utility back or impact half late in games. Lindsay Collins delivered a few strong defensive moments, but was otherwise quiet and had limited minutes. He was outperformed by New South Wales' bench forwards and didn't have his usual origin impact. He's a known performer, but his lack of involvement was noticeable. When he's on, Collins brings intensity and mongrel to the middle, but that wasn't evident here. His rotation felt misstimmed, coming on when momentum had already shifted. Expect him to bounce back with a bigger role and renewed aggression in Game 2 if he is chosen again. Beau Fermor came on late and didn't have much time to influence the game. He's not a natural impact player and would be better suited to starting, where his size and work rate can set a platform early. Queensland's bench lacked punch and Fermor wasn't used to his strengths. His mobility and tackling efficiency make him a dependable edge forward. However, throwing him into the game during a New South Wales surge didn't set him up for success. A switch in role or early introduction could change his effectiveness drastically. And finally, we had Trent Loiero, who had a solid stint with a few decent carries and defensive efforts, but he lacked the game-changing impact Queensland needed off the bench. The team needs more spark from its interchange players, and Loiero didn't quite provide that. He may need to make way for a more dynamic option. He worked hard but rarely bent the line or changed the tempo, and Queensland's bench rotation as a whole lacked variety, and Loiero's skill set overlapped with others. That's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you think I got anything wrong in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe if you're new and leave a like down below on the video if you did enjoy, and see you in the next one, and goodbye.